What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of the Daily Market Commentary. I'm your host, Chuck Fulkerson. I hope everybody's having an amazing, amazing day. It is Monday morning. We are back in the proverbial saddle again after the little break for the Christmas holiday. So great to have you here with us. For those of you that are regular viewers, I know that we got a little bit of a lighter viewership this morning, but that's what's great about it is that we're here to do what we do each and every day from an educational perspective, identifying both breakouts and reversal trades in the markets. If you're new to the channel, make sure you click the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, all the alerts, all the updates, and all of those fun things. I'd love to tell you that there's a whole lot we're going to discuss today, but there's not. Last night, our hour-long trade room took about 40 minutes, 45 minutes, because there just wasn't a lot of stuff in the markets. And frankly, not a lot has happened in the overnight for us to really add more to those conversations. So I don't feel like we're going to go very long today because I don't want to force a trade. Now, I will say this. As we're at these all-time highs, we know that it's difficult to short at these all-time highs. Now, we did get a slight poke above the all-time high at about 5 a.m. this morning, giving us a new all-time high. And so we can continue to take breakout trades above here. If you didn't take this on the breakout, then I certainly wouldn't take it now. If you did take it, your stop isn't until way down here at 37.14. But remember, the 6-candle rule is still does still apply and is still in effect. So I think if you didn't take it, you still have an availability to do so. If we get some basing in here this morning, which we are seemingly to get some of this basing to give us another move higher. And so that's the picture in the S&P. The NASDAQ actually did give us a bit of a break. Oh, crud, my head is too large. I wish somebody would have told me. I'm just kidding. All right, there we go. I shrunk my head, so I'm going to start this thing all over again. So S&P, well, like I said, chopping along sideways here. You know, I try to keep it clean, Lee. I appreciate that, though. S&P chopping along sideways here. Not a lot happening, like we talked about this morning. Poked above. If you did get the long, the short, the stop has to go at the tightest right underneath this pivot. Because remember, on a breakout, your stop goes below the last pivot. 6-candle rule is in effect on the S&P. NASDAQ, very similar picture, although if you took this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we're at the 6-candle rule right now. And that 6-candle rule, although it doesn't look like my my head shrunk the way I expected it to on my video for some reason. Looks like my head's still large, isn't it? I'm gonna do something kind of unique here. I'm gonna turn off this display device and see if this helps. Looks like my head is still large, and I don't know why that is. There it is. Looks like it finally shrunk. Okay, sorry. Don't know why that took such a long time to shrink. That's not the normal case. All right. Once again, let's. Oh, good here. Okay, so I guess it is there. Maybe there's just a bit of a delay. All right. NASDAQ, once again, we're 6 candles in. If you took the breakout, it just wasn't showing up on mine. Some native warriors. Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. All right. This little area here would have been our breakout trade if you were awake and took it. We're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles in. So at this point, it's a good idea to take your stop and move it to break even. If you didn't take the breakout, I think there's still plenty of opportunity on a retest because I don't know that we're going to go rocketing up from here. I do like in this one, we have a little bit of a potential area right here. It's not phenomenal, but it is an area worth considering and worth taking a look at right through here. So keep an eye on that one, that 12.737. It's not amazing. I looked at it a little bit yesterday as we had our our initial move higher after the market had opened, and it's a Globex session, so not usually the cleanest. So, but it can be used for a potential reversal trade today. The Russell we talked about last night. The Russell did get us that breakout to a new all-time high and has actually continued to run. So a couple of people did get into that one last night. If you got into that one last night, let me know. Let me know in the chat window, because I do know that some of you were able to get into that one last night, and it's been running ever since. Now, it didn't quite give us the basing necessary to get in, but I think some people got in out of, frankly, sheer boredom because there just wasn't a whole lot of trades last evening. On a pullback, if we do, one day this week, I really do like this area here for a pullback, this 1980 by 1975. In the NASDAQ, by the way, my eventual target is still this area up here, which was taken from a Fibonacci extension. This is right around 12,950. So kind of, I don't know that we're going to make it there this week, although it's a potential that we could make it there this week. I mean, that's only another 154 points to get to that region. So we're already up 100. Who knows if we can get another 154 by the end of the week. But that was my target my goal was to see, my goal, it's not really my goal, it's to see, my anticipation was that the market would make it there by the end of the year. And so let's see if we do make it to that region, although we're just, back to new all-time highs. So, all right, let me share this grid out. All right, next. Let's go to energies and metals, as we have a couple of areas in here. Crude oil, we talked about last night, is continuing its march back higher. We had talked last night about the fact that there was some supply up above us, but we didn't really believe in it. And no surprise, we popped right through it, continued to do so. The demand area that I like is this one down here, but I don't see us retesting that one anytime soon. In looking at this, I think that your next best supply area, I mean, you've got obviously this area up here, but I don't know that that's going to be a phenomenal area that's going to stop price. I can see price making it through that level and look for basing in here for actually a potential breakout. That's what I would say, is let's look for basing in this region. Now, if we don't get the basing, this obviously not going to be a breakout, but look for basing in this area for a potential breakout to the upside. And then on a pullback, look to down here. Gold yesterday gapped up, or gapped, and then traded straight up into a supply level. And then it's now started to sell off of that supply level. I wasn't a huge lover of that supply level last night. And I know that there were some people that did, that did take that short off of this region here. It was this area of supply right there. I wasn't a huge lover of that level, but we said if you wanted to take it on a confirmation, then you could. And it's actually had a really nice run from that area. So it's one of those ones where this guy over here missed it, and I'm okay with that, right? I'll take one of those misses when I'm wrong on them. I'm going to look at this 15-minute level right in here. The reason I like this 15-minute level is that it's a wick over wick just below a pivot high, right in an area where we typically might see a decent movement, and it plays into this gap region in here. So just keep an eye on that one. That is 1887 by 1888. It's a very small zone if we make it back up to that region. You also have another level up here. I took this one here because it's a slightly better time of day. You could even go higher and go to the origin of this move down way up here. Nat gas, we had talked about a potential on a gap and go. If price gets below the first candle's low. We've obviously not gotten there yet, so don't worry about it at this point. Or a potential gap fade with this area up here acting as resistance, although there's been no fading to this gap. It's really just chopped sideways. So look for a potential on the gap and go on the nat gas trade. And then copper, we had a supply level up here for a confirmation short. But other than that, nothing really to lean on from a copper perspective. We had talked about this area back here sometime last week, and then nothing really came of that area. So let me put this one out there. Now, agriculturals. So let's talk about the ags. So in the ags last night, we talked about the fact that they were all a bit overextended. and I was interested to see if we got a little bit of a pullback into a decent zone. And this one actually did pull back last night, right at our area. Now, what I was looking at was I looked at a Bollinger Band and noted that we had rallied above the mean in price. And so my thought was, well, this is a gap fill level, and I don't normally trade gap fill levels, but it could come back to be a reversion to the mean, and price could move off of there. And we did get a pullback, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles later, we're right now basically back at break even. And so this is a good example of, while it's an okay level, it's still not looking like it's going to hold out and do a whole lot. Does it mean I'm ready to go short? No, but I could if we get below here. Now, this was a breakout to the upside, so I'm going to remove that line. But we could break below 1260. Corn. Corn, this is the same area, very similar. If I throw the Bollingers on there, at the time, this was the reversion to the mean point. Now, it certainly has gone up a fair amount since there. Got a bit higher and did not come down into this area. So we may revert to the mean and still not make it down to our area of demand, right? So this is why the indicator is useful, but it's only useful at the time that you look at it, right? It doesn't, because the mean is going to continue to rise, even though we didn't come back to that mean. But I think that area of demand is still somewhat valid. Wheat, we are coming close to our wheat area of demand right here. Now, this one was a very strong rally out of that zone, so that's a retest of this area. So far, everything looks on track to give that a shot. If it comes back into there, 624.6 would probably be your target, maybe even 624.4. It's probably a bit better as a target. And then bean oil is nowhere near that potential entry, but also still in play. All right. All right, next, let's go to bonds and currencies. So in our bonds and currency markets, we had nothing in the bonds at all, as we were just both sideways. Euro is in between our levels of demand and supply. So our 4-hour chart is very clear about this. We are very much in between our levels of demand and supply. 1-hour chart, still in between some levels. Had a sell-off, a couple of hours ago, and now we're retracing that back up. I just don't feel like there's anything in here worth fighting to look at. Same thing with the U.S. CAD, although the U.S. CAD does have a supply level up above here. Potential breakout forming right below here. But in the meantime, really nothing for me to jump up and down about and to lean on. And then on my other bonds and currencies, the New Zealand dollar, we had almost nothing in currencies last night. New Zealand dollar does have a decent supply level up here on a 15-minute chart after this move down. Now, this was one where the gap fill actually held, and I've not really been trading gap fills very often. I don't typically find the gap fill in the futures market to be as effective as it is in the equities market, so I've not been trading these gap fill levels. This one did work out for a little 2-to-1 for those of you that did take it. We are coming closer to right back up here on the 15-minute chart. But just know if that breaks, then I think, or if we get 6 candled out of there, then I think you've actually got a better opportunity for an upside breakout move in the New Zealand dollar. So upside breakout move is very much in play. Great British Pound, we have a demand level down below us at the origin of this very strong move up in price. We have a supply level up here that was just recently created that I'll be interested to see if we can cut right through there. If we cut right through this area of supply, then I think then we're going to, challenge those highs up there at 36.39. Ideally, I'd like to see basing in that supply area before, and then it would give me an opportunity to get out. But when I just look at this on the 4-hour, we're very much in an upward trend. So if you wanted to give this a shot, this supply area up here, which that is a pretty clean area of supply, formed at a decent time of the morning, it's got to be a confirmation entry because it's going counter trend. So I like the level from a structural standpoint. I don't like the where we are in the trend identification setup, but I think from a structural standpoint that it's pretty good. Oh, very good, Liz. Thank you for that heads up. I didn't even think about the bank holiday in the UK and the Canadian. That's a great point. Japanese yen, I don't really even have to say anything here, do I? I mean, really? I mean, we're in between levels. And now, we're in between some good levels where I think we could still see some movement, but it's very much in between. And then the same thing in the Australian dollar. We did the gap fill trade back up to here. We didn't even really consider that one last night, but just didn't have any levels on the Australian dollar. So not a lot in the realm of currencies. This is a great week. Once again, not a bad thing to I said this at the beginning of last week. There's a lot of traders I know that take the entire last 2 weeks of the year off. I'm gonna be up trading this week. We're gonna continue to do our daily market commentaries every day except for Friday, and our normal routine. But for the most part, I'm not going to force anything if it's not there, and there is nothing there in the currencies. I think that the best trades that we have set up are probably going to be the ones in our equity markets. Those are the ones I think that make the most sense for today, and those are going to be the breakout trades, right? The breakout trades I think are the ones that make the most sense and give you the most proverbial bang for your buck. So that's what I have for today. Now, real quick, if you are brand new to trading and you want to learn a bit more, we are starting to have more and more brand new traders at tradersarmy.com. So we've put together a strategic trader class for those of you that are interested. Go to tradersarmy.com. Go to one of our free 2-hour introductory sessions to kind of see what it's like. You can sign up on the website for those. It's good to have it. So that would be all the football today, John. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. If you guys need anything, let me know. Chuck.Fulkerson@tradersarmy.com. I will talk to you soon. See ya.